What is going on, YouTube world? It's Jay Coffee back at it, and this Shannon Sharpe situation is fucking crazy. He's got himself in quite the situation, to say the least. And as always, I want to hear everyone's thoughts about it all as we go over what's going on. As Shannon Sharpe, has released statements. The most recent one being that he's gonna kind of chill and fall back in the cut, if you will, as he says, my statement is found here, and this is the truth. The relationship in question was 100% consensual. At this juncture, I am electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues. Shannon Sharpe, as he also issued a previous statement.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Buzbee, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Buzbee targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabbi, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabbi and Tony Buzbee want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. All you guys. Thanks.
And you heard him calling out Buzbee, a name that has buzz around it. You know what I mean? Whether you think he's doing good work or you think he's nothing more than a shakedown artist targeting athletes, successful black men. And you heard him mention Jay-Z. You didn't hear him mention Diddy, right? As a lot of those lawsuits were against Diddy. Tony Buzbee is involved in. But with Jay-Z, I feel like most people feel, and let me know how you feel, that it was cap. You know what I mean? As Jay-Z, and it seems like Shannon Sharpe is doing somewhat of a situation play out of somewhat of a similar play out of Jay-Z's playbook in this situation, dealing with Buzbee and this accuser, Gabriella Zuniga, I believe is how you say her name, who originally was a Jane Doe, which is something we've seen in a lot of other lawsuits involving Buzbee. And, the internet sleuths, internet detectives put in that work and figured out who she is. And I got to say, she wanted that. Two things that I think you can bank on with this, that both parties are happy about with this situation. She wanted people to find out who she is. Whether this is true or not, I believe. Let me know if you believe what I'm believing to be actual, factual. She has an OnlyFans page. Now, I'm not up on the OnlyFans world like that, but from my understanding, I don't have her exact statistics or anything like that. She had what they're calling a modest OnlyFans page going, right? Now she's becoming a household name, getting Googled, her name trending, the algorithm and all that, her name's going up. And from Shannon Sharpe's side, you guys remember that too a while back, Unc, as they call him, right? Unc, one of Shannon Sharpe's aliases, right? Unc accidentally, quote unquote, went live when he was getting busy with a female. And I believe that to be tied to this situation. I don't know. You let me know what you think again. It's all about hearing from y'all, the people. Hit the comments. Let's discuss this. Subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for updates. He's happy at least that people are like, yo, Shannon Sharpe ain't putting from the rough. You know what I mean? As there's been a lot of stuff over the years, from even his football days up until recently, where, cats are like, hey, Shannon Sharpe's a little light in the loafers. Pause. Shannon Sharpe likes to putt from the rough. Pause. Shannon Sharpe got sugar in his gas tank. Pause. We saw the way that went down when Mike Epps called him out. You know what I mean? As his name came up in the legendary viral Cat Williams interview on Club Shay Shay. Mike Epps was calling it Club Gay Gay. And, you know, there's a whole situation where Shannon Sharpe's previous stylist, you know, there was allegations that he was doing a little more than styling and profiling with him. Pause. As the former stylist, an open homosexual, had been tied to another athlete that he was a stylist for, who was an NFL player that he outed and exposed as a DL type individual, you know, and that wasn't just rumors, it was confirmed. And then Shannon Sharpe went and hired this guy, and it was like, yo, why would you hire someone who outed someone, even if you're not on that type of vibes? You know what I mean? You ain't doing the DL type thing. Pause. Why would you want someone who outed someone? And you know what I mean? As in the celebrity world, whether even it's about some GAY-ish or whatever, who wants someone working for them that's going to put any of their business out, period, let alone someone who outed someone for their DL ways? And with the way Shannon Sharpe responded to Mike Epps and the way he went off, and you know what I mean? It's clear, you know what I'm saying, as a lot of internet celebrities will try and, or just celebrities, period, will try and, yo, I don't care what people think about me. I mean, everyone, it's just human nature, cares to a degree what people think about them. But Shannon Sharpe clearly was bothered and cared deeply about Mike Epps was alluding to and was saying. So that's one thing Shannon Sharpe can walk away from this with is, hey, I'm tied to a female. People don't think I'm DLing it up and putting from the rough. You know what I mean? But he could just be a both switch hitter, both sides of the playing for both teams. You know what I mean? I don't know. Pause. But back to what we were talking about with Jay-Z's name. Again, you didn't hear him mention Diddy, right? But with Jay-Z, I feel like at this point in time, most people are like, yo, that was some bullish that they tried to pull with Hov. As Jay-Z, the lawsuit originally came out, Jay-Z wasn't mentioned. It was just like celebrity A and B or whatever. And they hit up Hov talking about, hey, let's meet for private mediation. And they try to throw it out there. My client didn't ask for any money. They just asked for a private mediation, a confidential mediation. Well, for what? For money, to come to terms on a settlement. And Jay-Z said, "Fluck up out of here." And then they refiled and amended the lawsuit, including Jay-Z's name. And Jay-Z said, well, fuck you. We're going to fight this thing. The NFL, Roger Goodell, let it be known, yo, we're still rocking with Hov. He responded to this like quickly, and he's standing on business. We're standing with him. I'm paraphrasing. That's not a quote from Goodell, but he said something to that effect. And then with the lawsuit, like the fact that the girl calling out Jay-Z, accusing him of this wicked behavior, was like the father didn't remember traveling from Rochester, New York, the 585 all the way to NYC to pick up his daughter after allegedly being violated by Hov and other celebrities like Fluck up out, and Diddy and other celebrities like Fluck up out of here. He would never forget that. That ish was cap, and I ain't buying it. And it seems Shannon Sharpe is trying to fight Buzbee as well. Tap in and let me know what you think about Buzbee, if you do think he's nothing more than a shakedown artist. And that's what's fucked up about all this as well. You know what I mean? Because old girl being an OnlyFans individual, right? That, like, it don't mean a shorty can be doing that. And, you know, just because she makes money, quote unquote, selling the box one way or another, if you want to look at it, a girl could still be violated under those circumstances. But when you're linked to a dirt McGirt scumbag like Tony Buzbee, the lame Jane cowboy, you see him here on his cowboy-ish, like, yo, this ain't Yellowstone, man. You're accusing people of grape and all this stuff. And you'll just jump in there with any situation tied to a celebrity, kind of like an ambulance chaser, but he's a celebrity chaser. So that makes, you know, like a situation where that could happen to a female look like it's wolf tickets. And I'm not saying that's what's happening or not, but I'm saying when ish like that goes down, it does that for future situations. You know what I mean? The court of public opinion. And that's what old girl makes herself look like, being tied to a dirtbag like Tony Buzbee. As you know, Buzbee has this edited video or whatever, as you heard Shannon Sharpe referencing. You know what I mean? He's like, I want that full video. If you got it, Buzbee, put that full thing out. You know what I mean? You put out this stereotypical, edited up piece of content. Where's the real thing at? And could you imagine if Gabriella has a friend that has knowledge of the full tape or has access to it or whatever, what that could be worth in a lawsuit like this where 50 M's is being put out there? Like, real talk, she better hope, if that indeed is the case, that it's edited. And let me know if y'all believe that it is, that no one else knows about it. Because just like with these lawsuits being all this money out there and everything, like, could you imagine if someone had that or access to it, the type of payday they could come into and also get their momentum and celebrity status on, make their name a household name? You know what I'm saying? Someone who had the smoking gun and expose the actual factuals. As Shannon Sharpe's attorney also put out a statement saying, with all these different quotes, pardon me having to say this, we got to cover this thing in depth. There's some real off the wall language or whatever. It says, statement by Lanny J. Davis, counsel to Shannon Sharpe. Quote, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me. Gabriella Zuniga in a text message to Shannon Sharpe, October 7th, 2023, as this goes back a little while. And something else to it before I continue on. If you do believe, this is indeed consensual, right? 20 years old, the accuser, 54 years old, Shannon Sharpe. Some people look at that like, man, that's, she's just a hop, skip, and a jump out of her teens. Like, that's type weird or whatever. But in the eyes of the law, that's consenting adults. Share your thoughts about that. Then it says, quote, I know you miss this big juicy ass, $25K for each cheek. This lawsuit filed by Gabriella Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Buzbee, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Ms. Zuniga presented Mr. Sharpe with a secretly recorded video of a consensual actual encounter. We believe the video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. Ms. Zuniga has refused to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. To set the record straight, we are releasing several of Ms. Zuniga's own explicit text messages to Shannon Sharpe that clearly indicates the nature of their relationship was consensual and actual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Contrary to the allegations she makes in her lawsuit, consensual acts continued until January 2nd, 2025, the day after she asked for 25 thou wow per cheek, as quoted above from her text messages to Mr. Sharpe. There are other examples of texts from Ms. Zuniga, for example. So before we continue on, what do y'all think about that? Do you think that 25K per cheek text was like what Jay-Z, I think proved that she came at his accuser with like, yo, let's meet for mediation. I still can't believe, like I said, Buzbee had the audacity, the gall to be talking about, we never asked for money. What the fuck do you think they wanted to meet for? It's so ludicrous, man. Buzbee's a sack of ish, if you ask me. Do you think that 25K a cheek, 50 thou wow for that ass text was like a number amount, her speaking in code that, hey, you pay that, things ain't gonna get ugly. Now they're asking for 50 mil. But some more text. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then it says I can do whatever I want to me. I think it's supposed to say, then you can do whatever you want to me. I want to put my tongue in your paws. I can't even say that. Y'all see what it says. And then marry you. Man, that's some nasty work right there. Ass eating and marriage in the same sentence. That's fucking crazy, man. That's my daddy fuck. I got to throw a pause in there. I'm reading a female's words, but you know what I mean? I want you to put a big black baby in me. You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. Those messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic actual communications initiated by Ms. Zuniga. The evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, actual language, and fantasy scenarios explicitly requested by Ms. Zuniga. That the edited tape that Ms. Zuniga secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempt tries to falsely portray. As a result of this editing and out of context from prior text messages, that the actual activity was non-consensual, but Mr. Sharpe now believes her secret taping was all part of her planned setup as part of her blackmail scheme, as distorted by her edited tape, a copy of which she refused to make available to Mr. Sharpe or his counsel. Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of grape, and will not submit to what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on the facts of the law. So, Sharpe, through his attorney, and we saw him addressing it by himself, I ain't standing for this. This is cap. And, the lawsuit again, who the internet sleuths exposed this Jane Doe as OnlyFans content creator, Gabbi Zuniga. It alludes to some very heinous allegations, grape, among other things, battery. What's the exact quote on it? I'll get back to that. But, what do y'all think so far, man? Again, join the discussion in the comments. Oh, yeah, it's suing Sharpe for grape, emotional abuse, and secretly recording intimate moments. But that's kind of wild, being the fact that she, put out via Buzbee clips of a, actual encounter. But I guess they're trying to say, Shannon had recorded that without her consent and was showing it to people or whatever, you know what I mean? But, again, she's happy that her name got out there, I think, you know what I mean? And again, Shannon Sharpe's happy that cats know he ain't putting from the rough, pause, or at least putting from the rough full time. And they also allege that Shannon Sharpe offered $10 million if she would keep quiet during mediation last month. So that's the difference. I guess they met for mediation where Jay-Z was like, "Fuck out of here. I ain't meeting you for Nathan, for nothing." Buzbee also put out some responses to this in, his social media. Right here it says, prior to engaging in the mediation process, Mr. Sharpe's counsel initiated on Jane Doe signing a confidentiality agreement. Mr. Sharpe's attorney has now breached that agreement while at the same time deliberately revealing Jane Doe's name, phone number, and private messages that again predate the alleged grape. That was a grievous error on Shannon's I'm sorry, on Sharpe's part, because now all the things discussed and revealed in that mediative process will at some point be revealed. So Buzbee saying that Shannon Sharpe actually met for mediation. Again, something in stark contrast to the way Jay-Z handled Buzbee, where he was like, yo, I ain't meeting for nothing. We don't have nothing to talk about. Oh, you added my name to the lawsuit. Cool, now I'm countersuing you. Shannon Sharpe allegedly, according to Buzbee, met for mediation, and there was like NDAs, confidentiality agreements in place and all that, and that it's being violated by his attorney throwing old girl's name out there. But in a sense, the internet detectives put her name out there. I guess they just, confirmed it, but I guess that could still be considered violating those confidentiality orders and stuff, man. The way social media is now, it's changed the game so much with litigation and lawsuits and criminal cases. It's absolutely wild to really think about. And I wonder if there'll be laws put into place at some point to really try to constrict the use of social media when it comes to legal situations. I mean, there is some legislation, I'm sure, put out there, but like strict blanketing laws, like where it will really try to keep people from speaking about stuff via social media at all. You know what I mean? This blogosphere world that we live in hasn't only been like this for so long, and algorithms, social media, clicks, views, ads, all that ish changes the game every day. It's a crazy world we're living in. It says, as set forth in the filed lawsuit, Mr. Sharpe's conduct throughout the 2-year relationship reveals a pattern of narcissism, manipulation, and coercive control. It grew progressively worse. Sharpe's new lawyer claims in his statement that, quote, the evidence paints a clear picture. He's right about that. It's just not the picture he wants the public to see. Although we will see the video discussed by Sharpe's lawyers for the courtroom, I would suggest that Mr. Sharpe's new lawyer take a moment to listen to his client at a different time and on audio, and ask his client for the real story, the truth. In the attached audio, which was captured near the end of their relationship, Mr. Sharpe threatens to choke the ish out of Jane Doe. The contents of this clip are certainly not actual. They are not playful. They are instead disturbing, aggressive, and dangerous. This audio paints a very clear picture of how Sharpe treated Jane Doe, leading her to escape from him by leaving Nevada and blocking all contact with him. And we have the transcript of that audio, which we'll get to in one moment. And then they also went on to say that this is not the first time Mr. Sharpe has faced allegations of mistreating a woman. He was also sued in New York for allegations for alleged aggressive and inappropriate behavior, detailed extensively in that lawsuit. Instead of owning up to his actions, Sharpe has chosen to mislead his lawyers and the public and double down, this time by doxing Jane Doe and attempting to humiliate into silence this woman who is 30 years his junior. So there you hear them bringing up the age difference, 54 and 20, legal in the eyes of the law, but may be viewed very differently by people. You know what I mean? And again, I want to know what y'all think about that all. And they're saying, what do you guys think about them saying he doxed this individual? He did indeed confirm, and his attorney via statements that they put out, that this individual was who the internet detective work and all that, uncovered her identity. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Sharpe's aggressive approach will instead have the opposite effect. Ms. Doe is not afraid of the truth. She relies upon it. I look forward to presenting the evidence in this case through the judicial process, where the truth matters more than a sports icon desperate public spin. And then there's a statement also, like the caption that says, our statement in response to the Sharpe statement released yesterday. Key points. Each text released by Sharpe occurred before the alleged grape at issue in the case. The attached audio transcript reveals the nature of Sharpe's relationship with Jane Doe prior to the alleged assault. Doxing and trying to humiliate or discredit Jane Doe won't deter her from pursuing justice in court. So this case, different in like similarities to the Jay-Z situation and all that, as Shannon Sharpe pointed out, but some of the situation a little different, you know, and they're alleging that he met for mediation, which I feel like Buzbee can't be lying about that. When this is all going to go to court, that would be something just that would be clearly easy to debunk. But at the same time, Buzbee does some bugged out ish, and that was actually the second page in this statement. The first one said Shannon Sharpe released a false and misleading statement through his attorney. The Shannon Sharpe's newest lawyer fully accuses Miss Jane Doe of editing a video, a claim that is not only demonstrably false, but also desperate. The lawyer also suggests Miss Doe refused to make the video available to Mr. Sharpe. Again, the assertion is easily proven untrue. In fact, Miss Doe insisted he watch it. Here's what is true. Although Jane Doe never referenced any video or multiple audios that she possesses in the lawsuit that she filed, now that Mr. Sharpe's lawyer has decided to broach that subject, we will address it. An incredibly damning video does indeed exist. The contents of that video speak volumes about Mr. Sharpe and his behavior. The video, which will be played to the jury, is extremely problematic for Mr. Sharpe. Sharpe's team, as I anticipated, disclosed the existence of this video in an effort to try and get ahead of it. That effort will fall flat. So they're saying, and again, we're about to get to the transcript of the audio. They're saying, we're not using any of that in the lawsuit. Initially, it wasn't referenced, but it will be played in court. And those texts that I read to you from Shannon Sharpe's attorney, they're saying that was before he raped her or whatever. I don't know, man. This is some wildish, like a 2-year relationship. They're saying that the abuse and rape didn't happen at that point in time. What do y'all think about that? In his statement, Mr. Sharpe's attorney references several texts. Every text that Mr. Sharpe's counsel released today, purportedly from Jane Doe, are dated prior, and that's in all caps, to the alleged brutal assault set forth in Jane Doe's case. Those texts were obviously released in an effort to distract the public's attention from the allegations in Jane Doe's lawsuit. It won't work. A little history. Back in early February, our office contacted Mr. Sharpe on behalf of Jane Doe and broached the subject of a meeting. Multiple convos took place. Ultimately, a mediation occurred. So again, it'd be wild for them to be lying about that in these official statements, because like when it goes to court, there's going to be clear documentation if they met or not. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of safe to say that they met, I believe. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing Jay-Z didn't do. He said, yo, kick rocks. We ain't meeting. I got nothing to say to you. You want to put my name in this? I will fight it. I will sue you. They're saying, yo, he met. And when things ain't go right, he wasn't able to sweep it under the rug. Now he's putting all this ish out there. Mr. Sharpe was represented by different lawyers in that mediation. The mediation process went on for more than 6 weeks, ultimately leading to Mr. Sharpe making an incredibly significant offer to settle. Ultimately, Jane Doe refused the hefty sum offered by Shannon and instead filed this case. So that's where they're saying that $10 million was offered. And if that is indeed true, which again, it's like for them to go to court, and these statements that I'm reading to you will be referenced in court. Like they say, yo, he offered 10 M's in this mediation that clearly there will be documentation of. Like, Buzbee, excuse me, seems to be a lying dirtbag. But I mean, like, I can't see him lying about that. Something that will all be documented. What does that say to y'all if Sharpe and D try to throw 10 M's at her? You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z said, I ain't giving y'all a damn thing. You know what I mean? And here's the audio transcript. Here it goes. Jane Doe, which we know now as Gabriella. I'm just like, I don't know. Anything I say, you're gonna like get mad and you're gonna hang up on me. So I feel like, Sharpe, I'm not gonna hang up on you. It is what it is. Jane Doe. What? What does that even mean? Sharpe. Nothing, Gabbi. That's wild, right? Right in the transcript, it says her name next to Jane Doe. Nothing, Gabbi. You want to be a dick to me now. So, ... Jane Doe. I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me. Shannon Sharpe. Ah, Lord have mercy. If you say that word one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the ish out of you when I see you. Thank you. So let's just stop right there and say the text about getting choked when getting banged, doing some old freaky deaky dog collar around the neck X play, is clearly what's not in this audio transcript of this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this is not looking good for Shannon Sharpe, man. You know what I mean? Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, Jane Doe. Okay, well, I don't, ... Sharpe. You don't what? Doe. Well, I don't want to be choked. Sharpe. Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter. So I don't know. There is some way that this like is edited out of some other ish, that it's some fantasy role play. But then again, like I said, meeting, offering the 10 M's, it's messy. And then Buzbee also issued this caption. Late last night, the Buzbee law firm filed a civil lawsuit on behalf of a brave young woman who alleges she was brutally actually assaulted by former NFL player Shannon Sharpe on multiple occasions, the last incident occurring in January 2025. The lawsuit, filed under the pseudonym, quote, Jane Doe, lays out a pattern of intimidation, manipulation, and abuse, including allegations that Sharpe repeatedly threatened to choke and slap Jane Doe. The case seeks $50 million in damages. The case is on file in Department 11, Clark County State Court, Nevada, the county where the alleged conduct occurred. The egregious and concerning facts of the case are set forth in detail in the public filing. I'm extremely proud to represent Jane Doe. It takes a great deal of courage to stand up against those with power, fame, and money. I look forward to pressing this case in court. So what do y'all think about this? You know what I mean? Like, so much to really break down in this case, man. Like, real talk. Something else that leaked out as well that seems to be a bit problematic for Shannon Sharpe is some leaked texts, you know what I'm saying, that Gabriella confronted him about unprotected X. No means no, Shannon. So that's kind of wild, right? In one situation, she's talking about, put that big old black baby up in me. You know what I mean? You're going to be stuck with it for life. Like, get me pregnant type ish, right? But then we have these texts here that say, can I call you later tonight? I think that's from Shannon Sharpe. Then another one that says, but I cried when you left because I begged you to put a condom on and not put it in my ASS. Whoa, what the fuck? And you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon. So she's saying he wouldn't wear a rubber and wouldn't, you know what I mean, got up in the back door when she said she didn't want him. I mean, that's actual abuse if that is indeed true. And I mean, there's these leaked texts here. Then I don't know how to process this was also said. And then Shannon Sharpe responded and said, can I call you later? Now, Again, I want to hear from the people all out there. Subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do over here. We talk it up on the news. You know what I mean? You can't just regurgitate things you see in the news or take everything for what it just says. You got to bust it down. You got to discuss it. You know what I mean? The news is a complicated thing these days. Always has been, but seems to be more complex than ever. But here's some responses from some people out here. She is a grown-ass prostitute. Stop making excuses for her age, as she is a grown-ass hoe. He ain't sleep with no kid. He slept with an OnlyFans prostitute. Y'all look for any excuse not to call a hoe. He met this hoe on OnlyFans, not a damn high school game. So someone, as we were talking about the age difference and all that, and you know what I mean, the OnlyFans situation. Someone else says, way too old for this. I still don't understand why these men with money don't hire an escort service that have legal contracts. Random online woman is not the way to go, no matter if you are rich or poor. Stupid on the highest level. So this individual is saying like, yo, despite what we're talking about here, just in general, why do successful celebrities be, you know, going for the internet thoughts? Where rather than if they just want to have some fun or whatever it is, they could hire an escort service that has legal protocols set up, you know, for things to go how they go and security and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Is it because he wanted more than that? He wanted like some kind of relationship aside with everything else, or were they in a straight up relationship or what? Someone else says, Unc freak. He beats his meat. Pause. He's mean in these sheets. Shannon in 5. Pause. Someone says, imagine you a mixed kid, grow up and you find out your mom was texting with your dad, asking him to put a big black baby inside of her. You the big black baby. That would be a trip, man. You know what I mean? Like, life is crazy. It's like when you find out sometimes things about your parents. Comment if you ever been in that situation where it's like, you know, you find out your favorite celebrity ain't the superhero. The cape and the outfit is just a gimmick. Some cats be finding that out about their parents, their family, man. Their origin story ain't all it's cracked up to be. I've had that situation, not in this context, but just in other ways. You know what I'm saying? I'm adopted, but I know all the truth behind everything. Is crazy. Comment if you want to join the discussion in regards to that. Someone says, that joker is fish grease. She didn't just whip this up. Those messages are dated with her telling him, shake my head. He's not sharp at all, pun intended. The best thing he said was, can I call you? So like I was pointing out, man, you know what I mean? Shannon mentioned Jay-Z. He mentioned Buzbee. Buzbee is playing dirty ass fool, but there's clear differences between these situations. The mediation, trying to throw 10 M's at her, and these messages that have dates. All this is going to go on in court. This could be the end of Shannon Sharpe. You know what I mean? He's saying, hey, let me fall back till preseason football starts. What do y'all think? Do you guys think he's trying to come to a confidential settlement to put this all to bed once and for all? You know, and it's like when someone's going to court facing a criminal case, right? Like 50, like, yo, they're facing 20 years. Lawyers like, yo, let me see if I can get a plea bargain put out there, like that we can, you know, be more happy with. Can we come to a deal? Postpone a case. In this, we're not talking about years, right? We're talking about money, and 50 M's is what it is. Could that be, if this is all indeed true, if Shannon Sharpe was on some other ish, and like I was saying about his DL behavior and stuff, not putting from the rough, pause. I don't know. Like this may come to where some people may say, man, Shannon Sharpe's a cold deviant. He's out here trying to go against the OnlyFans star's wishes and go in the back door, raw dog, when she wanted him to wear a rubber. But then she's also asking to have the baby put up in her. This is a very complex situation in so many ways. There's so much here. You know what I mean? But tap in your thoughts on it all. Someone says, girl, no means no. Unc, they got a Squidward meme. Whenever you sleep with young, especially 18 to 25-year-old girls, and they start texting you in even a slightly weird way that makes no sense, the only move is to ghost. No response whatsoever. Experienced playboys know when to cut it off. And, just in regards to that comment, that reaction, and, as we go over some of the reactions of individuals here to this situation and these texts and everything, like, just aside from that, just in general, the internet changed relationships, hookups so much in such a way that it's just something else. Like the world, as I keep pointing out, whether it be the news, relationships, the rap game, everything, like the blogosphere has changed everything in a way to like the likes we've never seen before. And every day is another day. Like we're in uncharted territory. The world is so different, y'all. Then someone's got a Justin Timberlake meme with the quote, "I want to be abused, daddy." Pause. Did she say that? Apologies, y'all got a call there, but yeah, that quote, "I want to be abused, daddy." Pause. Did she? I didn't see that in any of the messages that came out. Did you? Let me know. Then someone says she was lining them up. Sad story, but one as old as time. So this individual says it was a lineup. It was from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? That's what this was all about. Do you believe that to be true? Did she wait 2 full years? Like, do you think there ever was a relationship there on either side, or she was just lining them up and he was just trying to get nasty and didn't want the world to know that he be putting from the rough sometimes, or what? Then we got a I Show Speed meme, and man, I Show Speed, he's crazy, right? Shay way too freaked out. So they're saying, from my interpretation, that the way Shannon Sharpe is acting, like he's too freaked out. This all just ain't as simple as he's saying. Dr. Debunker says, imagine being the judge who went to law school and studied some of the most monumental cases in American history, and you have to sit in there and listen to this ish. It's crazy, man. And again, like I was pointing out before, it's crazy. Like I keep talking about the way the blogosphere changed everything. The legal system, civil lawsuits is insane, man. This is madness, y'all. Someone says, ill, he want a raw dog, OnlyFans model. Sheesh. Shannon a beast. And there's some of the responses there. Again, I want to know your response, your reaction. Like I said, there's a whole lot here that we've discovered and covered and uncovered. And they say he be doing ish only cover on the DL aside from the OnlyFans smashing, and her alleging abuse is crazy, man. But like I said too, it's so wild. There was that situation that Shannon Sharpe, you guys comment that if you remember that he went live seemingly on accident, and it was like 5 or 10 minutes of him just beating some old shorty up, you know what I mean, getting active. And we're like, yo, what was that about? You know what I mean? Was that some kind of message to her? Was that her? Do you believe that's tied to this situation? There is a lot going on here, and it's not as simple, in my opinion, as what either side is saying. It's really something else, man. But that's going to do it for this one. Once again, I urge y'all to tap in. I feel like I got to even say pause when I say tap in with all this ish. You know what I'm saying? Ass eating and marriage, pause in the same discussion. Like, this is madness, man. So let's get that discussion going. Once again, make sure to subscribe. Stay tuned. Updates on this. I'm following this case closely. Like, this is bonkers. You know what I mean? I have not been engaged in the blogosphere in my typical way as of late. But so I'm just playing catch up on this one. But this is really something, man. So thank you for tuning in. Look forward to discussing and debating all this with y'all. And also, you know what I'm saying? Coffee. Always got to let it be known I'm just a dude making content, just having coffee talk and conversation with y'all. So if I miss something or something like that, like leave pertinent links or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't be on here trying to flex in front like I'm this, I'm this specialist and I know it all. Like, nah, man, I'm just Coffee talking it up with y'all, plain and simple. So with all that being said, till next time, I'm up out here. This was a fucking long one, but it's a lot, man. We gotta cover all this. So peace, blessings, yo. This is just nasty work, man. I'm gone.